wanted to talk about anxiety or anxious people, you know. And this is a story about my daughter. So I'm going to upload this video first, and then the very two next videos that are going to follow are going to be videos from us skating a weekend ago. So she hadn't been to the park in probably 4 years for the most part. I mean, maybe flat grounding, with my youngest son. Maybe she did something like that in that time, but not riding any bulls at all. And the reason being is I stopped kind of asking her to go. Once, when she started, she was probably like around 7, something like that. She started riding with me and my and Killian when Killian was little. So he was probably 4 when we got out there and got started. And my daughter was not too afraid when she was younger, but it got worse. She started learning to drop in. She got the drop in down, but she was very afraid of that. Like, I'm talking like it got to a point where she would cry. She would stand up on the side of the bowl and cry every day. And it felt like I was like making her do something. And at that point, I was like, this is dumb. I've tried to tell her, and I had made a video out of it, but I never uploaded the video. It proved a real point. I wish I had it to upload now about fear and anxiety in someone's life. There are a lot of things that you can do, I think, that parallel other things in your life and how you deal with fear, whether it's rational to be afraid of something or not. And I explained to my daughter back then when we were skating, like, why are you crying? Why you're not afraid to roll in here? We skated here last weekend. You rolled off, that one bowl, the 3 round corners. She would roll off the front of that into the deep end and she'd be fine. And she never crashed. My daughter has never crashed there. But for some reason, she just got completely overwhelmed with fear and could not do it anymore, to the point where Dad, as much of a positive thinker I am, I let it go. I was like, she's going to hurt herself if I keep, having her do this. She's going to end up hurting herself because she's just a wreck. She's a wreck. You got to go out with the right mindset to do it. And I remember telling her back then, so that's 7, she's 16 now. Damn, that's like 9 years ago. I remember telling her then. No, it wasn't then. She was probably like, maybe that was a couple years later, because that was when she started skating. And then she probably skated till she was 9 or 10. And then somewhere, I don't know, 10, 12-ish, something, 5, 6 years ago, I told her, honey, listen, this fear that you feel now at the skate park, you're going to have to deal with this one way or another in your life. You're being afraid of something for no reason, and that's going to translate in some other way. These inner demons that we all have, they talk shit to us. And we need to not give them energy with the other things we do in our life, and that can be, if you're hearing those voices, don't pay attention to that. That shit is not you, and you need to not give it light at all. Don't pay attention to it. And if you're having a hard time struggling with that, like skateboarding or something like that, might be a good idea. And I told her that. I said, listen, you've never fallen doing a roll in or a drop in ever. My daughter never fell at all on anything, really. I mean, a simple step knee slide maybe once, that she never got hurt. Never. And that's irrational fear. So I've got these 2 videos that I've teed up. I've had them already ready to go to upload for a week. A lot of times I sit on videos just because I'm like, oh man, it's not right. It's not the right time, or it's totally stupid. I wanted to be able to say something about the videos before I upload them because I saw something that was amazing. I went back out there with my daughter, and this was our deal. And her helmet wasn't fitting her very good. And this is funny because this is the helmet she always wears. She has long hair, like past her butt. It's getting ridiculously long. And her hair was all braided up, and she tried to put her helmet on, and she's like, "Oh, my helmet doesn't fit." As we got out of the truck, and I'm like, "Really?" And she's worn that helmet like, I don't know. It's weird. Your head doesn't. Did your head grow? Like, I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was weird, but I told her because I'm not pushing her, and I said, well, at least wear your wrist guards, and if you want to roll around with your younger brother Seth, who just turned 9, he doesn't really know how to skate very well yet. I go, just wear your wrist guards because we don't have insurance, and want her to be careful, and falling on wrists, they're commonly broken. So I want to be safe that way. And she'd wear a helmet if we had one, but we drove all the way there and she didn't have one, and she's gonna tool around anyway. Like I said, this girl knows how to skate, and she's never fallen ever. It's not like she's gonna try to board slide a rail. She's not gonna fall. But anyway, all of a sudden, and I'm putting no pressure on her to skate, but this is the most important part of the story, and I almost left it out. A couple of weeks back, all of a sudden, she started having like just anxiety, like not like full on panic attacks, but like definitely depression, and like really like she wanted me to be around her. She wanted me to pray with her, and she felt comfortable with her mom or I, and it was fear, it was total fear, and I talked to her about it, and I was like, look, hon, teenage kids and girls especially, we all know, like, how many fathers out there are going to agree with me that their daughter went through a phase where they get hormonal and emotional, right? She just turned 16, and just crying all the time, and I told her, I said, hon, you remember back at the skate park when you were afraid to drop in and you never crash, and I said, this is an irrational fear, and you're gonna have to deal with this someday. You can deal with it now at the skate park. You can overcome that voice that's going off in your head telling you that you can't do this, or this is too dangerous, you're going to get hurt, blah blah blah. You got to be able to tell it no. Right? Those are like inner demons. They really are. And we had a long conversation, and so a week later, and she's having problems every day with it, and I'm telling her what I know. Like, I've had miracles from prayer, absolute miracles that would blow your mind, and you wouldn't believe me, so they wouldn't blow your mind. My wife has seen it. If you truly believe, it happens, but you got to truly believe. You got to truly ask. I don't know that most people do that. So, she believes me. She's a lot like me in that way. I defended Santa Claus in school till I was too old against the whole school. My brother was 2 years younger than me, and he's like, yo, dude, that's a bullshit story, bro. You don't know that? And I was like, why would mom and dad lie? Like, faith worked for me because I believed it would, and it did. But yeah, so anyway, that just gives you a little insight to the craziness of me at times. But and I say that in a good way. The craziness of me is a good way. I'm not giving energy to those dark ones. But she comes out to the skate park, and all of a sudden I look back, and she's on the 5-foot wall of the Red Bull, and she got the helmet on. She went and got it out of the truck, and I didn't even know she did it. And she has the helmet on, and she has all her pads on, and I don't even know when she did it because she didn't put her pads all on. And she's standing on the side of that thing about ready to drop in, and I film everything, and of course I wanted to film it, but I didn't want to freak her out. I didn't want to add to it. I was just gonna let my daughter do what she does, and let's just see where this goes, and why the 5-foot wall. But I don't want to say that because I don't want to put any more doubt in her than she's dealing with already. So I'm just like, okay, let's do it. And I think I said, do you want me to go in there and grab your hand and just help you the first time? And she goes, no, Dad, I got this. Dad's feeling proud right now, right? And she did, man. She dropped in, boom, perfectly done. And that's the way she skated since the beginning. Um, and keep in mind, that's the first drop in 4 years, and it's on a 5 foot wall. When there's a 4 foot wall right over here, she could have done it on first. You know, a lot of the old guys, when they learn to drop in, they'll go to the smallest bank, the little 2 foot bank. They'll go to the 3 foot bank, the 4 foot bank, until they go on real transition, and then they'll go up. Um, I don't skate with him anymore, but I used to skate with a buddy that had a really strict regimen that he would get his body into to, uh, remember, or the muscle memory would remember what he's doing, which it's not a dumb thing. I'm not making fun of that. If that's your deal, do it. But I was so proud of her that she didn't do any of that. I didn't have to talk her into it at all. And then you'll see in the video I uploaded, she started rolling in off the big hip. I don't think she did the drop in the 4 foot, but there's no point to once you've already done it on 5 foot. That silver or that gray bowl with the 3 round corners that we skate's really fast, and it's fun because of that big roll end off the front. It generates so much speed, and that's scary too. A lot of people come out to that bowl and, man, I think they designed this wrong. That's like too deep of a pump. So it's pretty scary for a lot of people to do, and a lot of guys that skate are like, I don't know if I want to do that. That's looking trippy. So she started right in doing that, and she's carving around the bowl, and finally in the second video you'll see I'm like, dude, are you going for coping? And she looked over at me like, I'm gonna hit the coping. I'm like, damn, I'm feeling good about it, right? And she does. She hits the coping nice one time. A few more tries later, she hits it really hard. And I think, and it was a long, gnarly sounding grind. There's a video of it, you'll see. And then I think she got spooked and she jumped off, because I watched the video several times in slow motion, and I think she could have pulled that off. I think she actually jumped, and I told her that. I was like, I don't think you crashed here. You got scared and you jumped off. And so, is not to tell her that, oh yeah, you're a failure because you didn't stay with it. That's not even the point. But I tried to show her that, that was that fear that made you jump off. I seen a guy one time, I skated with him, and he was fast around our bowl. And it's not his local bowl, but he was fast. And one time, he comes around the rounded corner. He's carving with all his wheels down. He's going around, and he's going about 3 feet from the top on all his other runs that day. And then this other run, he comes in a little faster. I don't know. We all brain fart once in a while and come up and, have a one-wheeler or something like that. He didn't have a one-wheeler, but he got about a foot from the coping. Right here. He's carving around, and he goes, whoa! I hear him. And he jumped off his board. And I'm like, why'd you jump off? And he goes, I wasn't going to make that. I was like, what do you mean? I got a GoPro right on you. You jumped. And, he saw that in the video for sure. But fear can be a sketchy thing, But the reason I'm telling this story the way I am now is because after that day, she hasn't had any more problems with the hormones. No more of the crying, no more of the fear, no more of it. She faced it, I did a video on my channel talking about, I was fucking around with some wasp in my backyard, doing some kung fu on a wasp nest and being a total dork, right? And I fuck with these things all the time, and I'm convinced that they don't know you're there until you show fear. Once you feel fear, your body puts off a pheromone or something, and they zone in on it at that point. Whoa, there's wasp, if you just don't have, they can't even see you. And through that video, I've gotten a lot of comments from a lot of people that are very scared of wasp, terrified. I won't even go outside if I see a wasp. And I tell them in the comments, why, dude? Wasps sting, honestly, is not that bad. Let one sting you. Let one sting you. I did it like, I don't know, a couple of months ago in summer. Like, let one sting you. It's not that bad. You know, bee sting's probably worse. Wasp sting might hurt a little more, like right now, but it goes away faster. Like, it's not that bad. If you've got a crazy fear of that, just let it happen. Obviously, unless you're allergic to it or something. But you have to face your fear, because that's what panic and anxiety typically is. It's the fear of something might happen. You know, well, is it going to happen? No, most likely not ever going to happen. So just face your fear and do it. That's where Killian always says, Dad, face the fear and do it anyway, right into the microphone. So anyway, I wanted to say that before these two videos go out, so anybody who watches those videos can appreciate what they see, because it really was something spectacular. She did it on her own. She did it without me asking. She did it without me even expecting anything. And then she hasn't had any more of those yucky feeling days where she's afraid of nothing, afraid of whatever, you know, those emotional crying, afraid, you know, like wanting to leave the house, or like wanting to, I don't know. I don't even, how do you guys know? You guys got daughters, right? You know what I'm talking about? So anyway, it worked. Skateboarding can teach us a lot in life. And I talk a lot about fear on my channel because it is fear. And it's funny. It's like whenever I meet somebody I'm skating with, it always comes down to fear. The conversation always is about fear. Why would you do that? I'm afraid. So anyway, peace out, guys. Look for me on the new board soon. All right, late.